Hello, today we'll be going over the theory of parallelism. Before discussing parallelism, it is important to know where the theory stems from. And as we should all know by now, that is substance dualism. The definition of substance dualism is that there are two fundamentally different substances in the world, minds and bodies. The dualist believes that physical things have physical properties like mass, momentum, spatial location, etc. Also, that minds have mental properties like believing, desiring, having sensation, etc. Therefore, by Leibniz's law, Descartes is able to prove that human beings have both minds and physical bodies. It is proven by the law because minds and bodies hold two different properties and cannot therefore be the same thing. Substance dualism holds a specific problem, which is the interaction problem. The interaction problem is how to explain the accommodation of the mind body interaction, since minds and bodies evidently interact causally. So, substance dualism creates a split road here due to the interaction problem. It is hard to see how interaction could occur if minds are unextended on material substances and bodies are extended. Material substances. So, successors of Descartes tried to massage dualism, but still tried to preserve the core insights of dualism. Parallelism takes the route of believing that dualism is true. Let's take a look at this chart of the interaction problem splits dualism, and where parallelism is at following the interaction problem. Dualism starts at the top of the chart and flows down to the interaction problem. This interaction problem is where the split road is created. You can either go down the path of denying dualism due to the interaction problem, or if it is true, you can either try to explain how it is true by explaining the interaction problem down here, or just denying it in general. Parallelism falls under this particular branch since it denies the interaction between the mind and the body. Part 2. What exactly is parallelism? Parallelism is defined as the mental and physical experiences occurring simultaneously and are not necessarily bound by any causal interaction. Suggested by Leibniz, the apparent interaction is due to a pre-established harmony. This pre-established harmony is perfectly coordinated by God, which is one defense proposed by parallelism. God set up the universe with two distinct causal orders, the mental and the physical. He set them up in such a way that although they never causally interact, they will always be in sync. They run in parallel. So when the mental event of one wanting to raise their arm happens, the pre-established harmony guarantees that their arm will go up. This is a defense of parallelism that invokes God. God intervenes to ensure that the mental and the material sequences run in parallel with each other. God is not a material substance. Indeed, according to Descartes, God is not a mental substance either. God is the substance of a third sort. Consider the case of two clocks that are set to the same time. Although they do not causally interact, it can always be agreed on that they run in parallel with the exact same time. According to Leibniz, the relationship between the mental and the physical is a law like this. Another example to understand parallelism is the event of sitting on a tack. Your sitting on a tack precedes to your sensation of pain. You undoubtedly have the clear impression that the former brought about the latter. However, in this case, you are mistaken. Similarly, when you form a desire to leap upward and subsequently leap, you have the impression that your feeling of pain and its attendant desire to leap caused your leaping, but it did not. It appears that these sequences of events includes both mental and material events that are causally related, but a defender of parallelism insists that these appearances are deceptive. Again, events in the mind systematically covary with events in the material universe, but there are no mental material causal connections. Part 3. He opposes the question, what explanation has a parallelist to offer for the fact that sequences of mental events covary systematically and universally with sequences of material events? Well, as discussed already, the defense of invoking God to the theory is one possible defense. But another possible defense is that this is just a brute fact about our universe, a fact not admitting of further explanation. The delicate pattern of covariation of the mental and the material is an explicable brute fact which appears to be motivated by solely a wish to preserve dualism, and an act of theoretical desperation, which denies other explanations. So, in other words, it's just a fact, bro. Well, through parallelism, we now know that A's can covary with B's without it being true that A's cause B's. If the covariation is extensive and systematic, however, it becomes natural to seek a causal explanation. Perhaps A's and B's are themselves caused by C's, which the C could be explained by the possibility of God. But in this case, in the possibility of the world being a brute fact, the chart will reveal how the world will work. There is no C or third substance or God. This is just the setup of the universe. Thank you. That's parallelism summed up by the two possibilities a defender can go by, a brute fact or the interaction explained by a third substance. But regardless of which defense, parallelism denies the interaction between the mind and the body, which preserves the dualist stance.